Hello everybody, welcome back to Stamping School. I've got a pretty easy card to do today using a new suite that's coming out March 1st. It's zinnias. If you like pretty bright colored flowers, this might be the one. I like bright pretty flowers, so I got this one. This is part of their online exclusive. There's a flyer. I will post that below in the links there. So there's quite a few new things coming out March 1st. This happens to be one that we can pre-order right now as demonstrators. So I'm going to show you how to make this. I'll show you the Zinnia Suite. And then I also want to show you this bundle. Somebody asked me to show what this looks like, and I'm going to use it on this card. This is really a great die set. It's different. I like that it's a little different with the bigger holes in it. So it's in the mini catalog from Stampin' Up! That's happening right now. Page 28. And it's the Everyday Details Bundle. I sold a lot of these so far. I think you guys are liking these dies. I did get the stamp set. I haven't used it yet, but the dies, somebody asked how they cut, because some of them are double layered, like this one right here, for example. See how there's the holes on the inside and the outside? So that means it will cut two of these, well, cuts one circle that looks like this, but then it also leaves a window with the circles around it. And there's two dies that do that in here. There's this one also, one of the rectangles. So they all layer together, and so the rectangle looks like that. So you get these great stitches around. And there's also one die that does this down the side. I'm going to use that on the inside of the card. And then there's a couple of these long little strips. I don't know what I'm going to do with those yet. And then in each one, see how they all layer together? There's a tiny little stitch. Hold it up so you can see. I'm going to use this one today. So it's a nice die set. You don't have to get the bundle. You can get just the dies if you want to. All right, now back to the zinnias. So there's a whole suite, including an embossing folder. Let me see if you can see that, with little zinnias all over it. It's very hard to see, but they're there. There's some sequins, which we all love, the sticky back sequins. And then there's the gorgeous designer paper. So even if you have enough flowers and you don't want the stamps or anything else, or the dies, the paper is fantastic. So it's very bright and happy. That's like a melon mambo. There's the other side. A bunch of little teeny flowers on the other side, and like a petal pink. A bunch of zinnias that you can cut out if you want to. I wish the dies cut these out, but they didn't. This one is interesting. In fact, they did a card, the artist that created the bundle, and used it as a background, so I recreated that. In their sample, they actually stamped the flowers and cut them out, but I just cut them out of the paper just as my warm-up card, like I like to do. But I love it as the background. It looks great. Initially, I thought, what am I going to do with that? And then it works out. More zinnias. That real pretty purple and blackberry that I'm going to use on the card. And then this one, which is the star of the show, because cut it down the middle and cut it in 4-inch pieces. You've got 6 easy cards. And I'm not using the back side because I want to use this side. And if you do want the flower bundle, this is what it looks like. So there's the stamp set, which are all open so that you can line art, so you can color them with some sentiments in there. Sending flowers and thinking of you. I do like that sentiment. Thank you so much. Words fail to express my gratitude. And then that's what it looks like when you color them. I just was playing around with it. And then the dies, of course, you've got the big one that will cut out this flower here. You've got this open one that'll cut these out, which I wish this cut out the designer paper, but I couldn't find any that it fit. So too bad on that. But it's pretty enough. And there's these dies, which you can layer up, and the little rings and the centers of the flowers. So it makes very pretty zinnias. Got stems, you got leaves, you've got these little guys go on the leaves right there. So you've got a solid leaf, and then you've got the veins. Is that what that's called? The veins that go in the leaves. It's pretty. Okay, let's make a card. So like I said, 4 inches by 6 inches. You're gonna end up cutting off a little piece here, but I'll show you what I'm gonna do with that. Blackberry cardstock, but look how many different colors you can use in this. You can do the mambo, you can do the greens, you can do the freesias. It's so pretty. Flamingo, so many colors in that you can use. So I got this with just fussy cutting it, and it's not hard. Don't send me a bad comment because you don't like to fussy cut. This is gonna be easy, I promise. What's nice about it is I wanted it to look like there was a die that just went across it. I just gave it a little bit of extra something, something. Now you can just put it right on the card like this and cut it down and be done. You don't have to cut it, but I like doing a little extra. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna stay away from the images and you're just gonna kind of wiggle around like this, just around. It does not have to be perfect because they're gonna be looking at the flower. They're not gonna be looking at this line here. I'm not even really, trying to get in there. I'm leaving about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Now at this point, this paper gets in my way, so I just get rid of it, right? You can just get rid of any of that extra stuff. Now, come in here. Now I work from the back of my blade instead of the tip. And that way I can just kind of wiggle around, kind of just use the back of my blade and go around it. And see, it's not hard, especially when you don't get too close, and it doesn't have to be exact. Now, if you zoom in on that, you're gonna see that that doesn't match up that well, but it doesn't matter because nobody's looking at that. They're looking at the pretty flowers. Right. Now, from here, I'm gonna take the back of this piece of paper, right here, this one. It's 1.5 inches by 4, so you get a lot of pieces out of that. I just love these colors together. I'm coming down, leaving a little 1/4 inch layer all around them. And then from here, you decide how much you wanna cut off. I've cut off about 3/4 of an inch off the bottom. And I'm gonna use that on the inside. So I'm gonna come in here. There's 1/4, there's 1/2, there's 3/4, right there. Now, because the paper varies a little bit, you may only need 1/2 of an inch cut off because some of the flowers, depending on which one you're doing, like this one, they're 2 high ones. So, that one will be a little smaller. This one might be a little bigger, but you've got a little room to play here because we just want to make sure that's covered. This is it. And then we just glue it on. You can do any sentiment here. You can do any sentiment, any size shape, anything will work. I'm just lining it up so that I've got that little relief down at the bottom too. Pretty? Oh, I love it. Now for my sentiment, I added one of these little circles in vellum of the dies I showed you, and then I embossed this sentiment on the pumpkin pie to bring out some of the orange that's in here. I got that idea from the video that the artisans did when they made it. They took that big piece of paper and then they ran a piece of orange right across it and embossed it in white, that long sentiment. I love the white embossing on the pumpkin pie cardstock. So use your embossing buddy. If you don't have that, use a little bit of baby powder, cornstarch, something to take off the static. And you need Versamark pad. That's my favorite embossing pad. It's clear, it's good and sticky, and it really works well. White embossing powder. Tap off the excess. And this is when you want to make sure the little flyaways aren't there. Now for white embossing, I really like a heat tool that has a low and a high. Ours does. Because the white, too much of a forceful heat can make those little white flecks go everywhere. So keep it on low and try not to do this. Stay right on it until it starts to turn. It takes a little longer on low, but it really helps with keeping the flyaways down. Now if you don't have a gun that doesn't have a low and a high, that's okay. Go from underneath. So use it high, under, don't catch your paper on fire. A lot of people will do this, don't do that. Keep your distance, but do under embossing, and that will keep the flyaways down. And then cut it out with a little die. All right, now we can assemble. Here's that vellum circle. I just like how it gives it a little something to rest on, kind of lift it up a little bit. Got some bright green ribbon that sort of matches that ribbon in there. It's about 7 inches. I'm gonna put a little bit of tape right there and just make a little, it's not a bow, it's just sort of a, I just want that to show. Dimensionals on the back side. And now I will show you what it looks like on the inside. Oh, and sequins. Of course we need sequins. These are pretty because they're orange, but then they're pink, but then they're just, I like how they have lots of different shades going on. You can use every color if you want to. Maybe I'll put one up here. Why not? Just a little extra sparkle. Now for the inside. So I took a 4-inch wide piece of paper by 5 1/4 like we do for the inside. I put that little strip down at the bottom. And then I put this on the bottom and ran it through just for a little extra interest. Now I had to trim it slightly because I got part of a hole cut there, but it fits pretty well right there. And then adding just a little bit of twine down at the bottom. This is that 3-pack of twine. It's got Flirty Flamingo and Lemon Lolly and maybe Balmy Blue. Anyway, so, you know, to measure, if you're doing a knot, it's 3 times around the card. So 1, 2, 3. If you're doing a bow, you do 4, but I'm just doing a knot. So we're doing 3 lengths of that. And I'm going to glue it down first so it doesn't get all twisted. Put a little glue at the bottom, and then I can easily tie it. Be a little bit easier. And then just tie it in a knot. Just a little something pretty on the inside. And then I'll trim that up. I really love this paper. So if nothing else, get the paper on March 1st because it's so, so pretty. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time. See it, learn it, stamp it.